We got some massive news here from Valve as their latest hardware lineup has been revealed. So we've been hearing that this was coming for a while. The rumors, especially for the Steam Machine, have been in the news now for a pretty long time. We've seen the rumors about the new Steam controller. Clearly, they were going to make another Steam VR headset, as that is something they've been doing for a while. And now this has all been announced with Valve giving their new Steam hardware family that is officially going to be expanding starting in 2026. Pretty exciting stuff here. If you are a PC gamer in any form, whether it's your primary or secondary way to play, it is pretty exciting stuff here. How you're going to be able to expand out how you access your stuff via the Valve hardware. If you've used a Steam Deck or anything, they do make some great hardware. They implement a lot of their features very well. And this is the expansion. This is what they are going for here now. You're going to have the Steam Deck, and then you're going to have a new Steam controller, a Steam Machine, and then the Steam Frame VR headsets all coming in early 2026. And I think probably in another year or so, we'll get a Steam Deck 2 of some sort. But let's take a look at everything that is expanding here. You have the Steam controller, and this is like the rendered pictures that we did see in the leaks. I think this looks very cool. I'm excited about how this thing is going to function and feel because it has those track pads on it for mouse support. These are the same ones that are on the Steam Deck, and they're phenomenal. I think these are the best ones out there comparatively to any other track pads on handhelds or anything like that. So that is pretty cool what they are going for here. But these are the features of the controller. It says plug and play with the Steam controller puck. One puck, two jobs. It's a wireless transmitter that provides a fast, stable connection for your Steam controller. It also is a charging station connecting to your controller magnetically with a satisfying click. Or you can use a Bluetooth or USB, which you can obviously use this thing wirelessly. Now, in terms of the actual functionality of this thing, high definition rumble, which is great. You're going to have different types of rumbles on this. And those trackpads, if you use the Steam Deck, they actually have some rumble built into it. So when you're moving your finger around, it feels very cool. There's some next generation magnetic thumbsticks. So these are the best style of thumbsticks you can get. And what is weird, you're seeing with even like the higher end pro controllers from Xbox, is that they don't have these updated thumbsticks, but hopefully this is the beginning where all of these high-end controllers start having them. But the Steam controller will have TMR technology thumbsticks in them. So stick drift will be a thing of the past. Basically, you shouldn't have any issues with that. They have the powerful motors for the HD rumble and accurate haptics, and then grip-enabled gyro. So they're saying this is called Grip Sense. This is the name of this feature that they are putting in this controller. It's a new input actually for the Steam controller, they say. Enables gyro with capacitive touch. So hold and release to enable and disable gyro aiming. You can also map it like any other button. So this is a fully featured controller with a bunch of cool things in it. You can see it has 4 back buttons. Then it has the triggers and the bumper buttons, as well as just your basic face buttons and the Steam button in the middle. So cool stuff there. I like how they've integrated those trackpads. This is a huge upgrade, I would say, over the first Steam controller in terms of the layout and design. And obviously, those trackpads will be better. Although a lot of people really did enjoy that first Steam controller. Now, that is the controller. This is all coming in early 2026. There is no pricing for any of this yet. But why do you need a controller other than if you're sitting at your desktop and playing? It's going to be mainly, I think, for this, which I'm pretty excited. I will probably end up trying to pick one of these up. And that is the brand new Steam Machine. It looks like those pictures that people made of a slim Xbox Series X where they put it into a cube. There's actually some pictures as well of the internals of this device. It's very compact. The build of it actually does really remind me of what Xbox was able to do with the Xbox Series X. Obviously, this is in a smaller form factor. In fact, we have some pictures here of inside the Steam Machine, and you can see, as Tom Warren says, the inside of the Steam Machine is just as compact as the Xbox Series X in an even smaller cube. So you can see it here with like the heat pipes and everything, and the fan and how it just all fits nicely. I love this design, is super cool. Like you can see there was a lot of engineering ingenuity in this to get this fit into a nice small case that they do have for the Steam Machine. It reminds me of this. Everyone was sending these types of pictures around of the rumored 2019 Xbox Series S leak that was coming out, it really just reminds me exactly of that. And I thought that was actually pretty cool. I like these sleek designs. I mean, also like the different style of console designs, but they're not executed very well all the time. So the sleekness, the way it fits in with your setup, with your entertainment system, this will look good basically with anything. It's just a black cube, has an LED light as well, so you do get some personality to it, but this is the Steam Machine. The other interesting thing about the design is this plate on the front is swappable. You can customize it. Kind of reminds me of the Xbox 360 faceplate that you can swap. As you can see it here, there are going to be different designs. I feel like there's going to be a lot of different designs you're going to be able to put on this. Third parties will probably even make some designs that you can do games and stuff like that. So that is pretty cool. But this is the Steam Machine. This is their second attempt at this. The first one did not go well. But based off of what we've seen with the Steam Deck, and I think they sold around 6-7 million units of that, and they consider that a success. I can see this thing easily selling around that much. So if that's all they need for this to be successful, then I feel like this one will be a success overall. Now, this does run SteamOS. They do mention here that you can put Windows on it and anything. They do say it is a PC. It gives you that console PC hybrid. In fact, the way that they marketed this device is basically exactly what Xbox is doing with their next gen console. They should take some cues here from the marketing to let people know all of the things that you're going to be able to do with it. They talk about SteamOS. They talk about it being a PC as well. They talk about how it has small form factor, cool and quiet. So they're saying here that it runs very, very quiet, and I'm sure that it does. The IOs on this that they say you can throw at it 1 gigabit Ethernet, DisplayPort 1.4, HDMI 2.0, and 1 USB-C and 4 USB-A ports. They're saying that this is going to be able to run 4K gaming at 60 FPS with FSR. So they won't be running that natively. I like how they're upfront about that right up the front here, where you're going to need FSR. And you can get this in a 512 gigabyte or a 2 terabyte model, has Wi-Fi 6E plus Bluetooth 5.3. And there is no power brick with this. It's just going to be an easy cable you plug in. And there is an LED strip on this device. And you can see here, they're very open. Run SteamOS, but it is a PC. You can install your own apps or even other operating systems. They're very open about exactly, they don't care. This is just the thing that they've built. It's a piece of hardware. You do what you want with it. And I really like that mentality when it comes to this style of stuff, not locking you down into anything and just giving you a piece of tech that could make gaming easier and better for people out there who want to have that PC Steam experience on their TV. Or if you're somebody like me, I look at this and I'm like, well, I could get this and then I could put the Xbox full screen experience on it and still get Steam Big Picture as well. If you put Windows on there, hopefully they continue to optimize Windows and make the full screen experience better and better. But that is something you could easily do with this device, something that I would be thinking about if I do end up picking this up. Now, specifically, these are all the ports in there: USB 3A, USB 3A, micro SD, the indicator LED, power button, DisplayPort, HDMI, AC power connector, Ethernet, another USB-C, a USB 2A, and a USB 2A. So 4 USB-A ports and 1 USB-C, and then you got that micro SD there in the front. The CPU in this is a semi-custom AMD Zen 4 6 cores 12 thread CPU with up to 4.8 gigahertz and a 30-watt TDP. The GPU is a semi-custom AMD RDNA 3, 28 CUs, 2.45 gigahertz max sustained clock, and 110-watt TDP. 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM and 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 VRAM. And they say here, like I said, you get 512 gigabytes of an NVMe SSD or a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD. They're going to have both models there. That's a big jump between the two models, 512 gigabytes or 2 terabytes. So there will be, I think, a relatively bigger price gap between the one that you do end up wanting to get, but you can still get a high-speed micro SD if you do want to increase the overall storage. So this is pretty cool. We don't have a price yet. I'm thinking they're going to try to come in here at a reasonable price and undercut a lot of the consoles out there right now. Obviously, with the console market increasing in price on Xbox and PlayStation, and even on the Nintendo Switch 2 side, they're going to try to come in there and give a good price for consumers is my best bet. And knowing that going into the next generation of PS6 and the next Xbox, the prices are going to be high. This will be an option out there for people to want to pick up if they don't want to spend that type of money. And then next up, we have the Steam Frame as well. No pricing, coming in early 2026. This is their next iteration of their VR headset, which is cool because they're expanding on it, making it better. And this one as well, you can play standalone. You don't actually have to connect it to a PC. So you can use it on PC and everything. One of the things they are doing here is giving you a wireless adapter with dual radios. They say this is included plug and play 6 gigahertz wireless adapter, which provides a dedicated link for both VR and non-VR streaming. And Steam Frame's dual radios make this connection even more stable. One radio is dedicated to streaming the audio and visuals, and the other connects to your Wi-Fi. 2 dedicated links, no competition for bandwidth. They're introducing foveated streaming, which is a new feature optimizing detail where your eyes are looking and typically can offer a 10 times improvement in image quality and effective bandwidth. I believe this is very similar to what we got on the PSVR 2, which was the eye tracking. So wherever you're looking, and it'll track that and make that part of the screen clearer, which was a very cool feature. Unfortunately, PSVR 2 was not supported, and they've basically abandoned it. They say here supports standalone Play 2, which this has a Snapdragon 8 series processor with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it supports the growing number of VR and non-VR games where you're not needing to stream from your PC. So if you are into VR, this will be one of the things you want to look out for. You can see all of the different ports on here in the eye tracking camera, magnetic face gasket. I feel like this is going to be super comfortable. One of the things they do stress in this advertisement is they've built it to be comfortable. And then here are the controllers themselves. So I believe these can actually be used with basically anything. They're saying in controllers for all of your games. They say the Steam Frame controllers also have familiar inputs to play non-VR games. So you can play anything. If you pick these up, you can just play, I guess, any games that you do want via Steam. So look pretty simple. They have the TMR joysticks and everything, and they take the AA batteries, which honestly, I'm happy because it's nothing more annoying than playing VR and then having to charge both of your controllers and they run out of battery and then you have to sit there and wait a while. If you could just pop in a AA battery in there and you get up to 40 hours of play with it, yeah, I'll take that over having to always charge these things up. So that's it. Those are the new pieces of hardware coming from Steam in their lineup. They are really going for that entire ecosystem. Handheld, now they're going to have a console, obviously PC, and then the VR headset. This is all encompassing into a very, very nice Steam ecosystem. If you are into PC gaming in any form, if you have a Steam library, this is going to be pretty enticing to jump into. And it really does just remind me of where Xbox is going. They've beaten Xbox again to the punch with this. They beat them to the punch with the handheld. They beat them to the punch with the PC console hybrid, which is coming in the next generation. But Phil Spencer doesn't seem fazed at all about any of this. He's actually peace and love about everything that Steam is doing. He put this tweet out right away to congratulate them. He says, gaming moves forward when players and developers have more ways to play and create, especially across open platforms. Expanding access across PC, console, and handheld devices reflects a future built on choice, core values that have guided Xbox's vision from the start. As one of the largest publishers on Steam, we welcome new options for players to access games everywhere. Congrats on today's announcement. And I mean, it's pretty clear. They just care if you buy Xbox games. They don't care where you do buy them. But if you are wondering what the future of the next generation of Xbox is going to look like as well from the console perspective, it's this. This is what they're going for. This is basically the exact same thing I think that they are going to have, but probably more powerful. It's just also going to run the Windows experience, the Windows full screen experience, and the Xbox console experience, not Steam OS, which is very, very good. So this is, to me, a great future in gaming if you are on PC and going forward. If Xbox does this similar stuff, they probably won't have the VR headset though. If anything, they'll have their third parties making a VR headset that you can just use on PC. You're probably going to be able to use any PC headset on the upcoming Xbox. But exciting stuff here. I'm probably going to pick up the controller and probably going to pick up that Steam machine and just have a nice little Steam box under one of my TVs to jump into and play all of my games that I have on PC and potentially in other places because you're going to be able to install anything on this device. Let me know your thoughts about this. Are you excited for this? Do you care at all about the Steam ecosystem? Are you going to pick any of this stuff up? I would love to hear all that in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.